choice. So you heard Dane talk yesterday about putting yourself in a position of choice pretty briefly. So I'm going to be walking through my path and doing Cutco through college and how you can put yourself in a position of choice with each role. So really what putting yourself in a position of choice means to kind of start off, it's something that applies not just to Cutco, but really to everything in life. It's not, unique to Vector. I'm going to be talking about it in relation to Vector, but it really applies to everything in life, whether that's school, other jobs, your personal life. When you put yourself in a position of choice, you're effectively controlling your own business and its trajectory. Everyone wants to have as many options as they can, and those options will come as a result of consistently taking action that brings you closer to where you want to be, just like Connor just said. And so in Cutco and in life, the more options you have, the better off you are. And this means being open to all possibilities, even the ones that you think in a million years you would never choose, it's still an option. And putting yourself in a position of choice means opening as many doors as possible so that you can choose the ones that are the best for you. It gives you ownership over your decisions and your future rather than being limited to only a few. And in Vector, putting yourself in a position of choice does not necessarily mean that you're going to be an assistant manager or a branch manager or a district manager, but that you have that as an option if it's something that you want. So going into like how you can actually put yourself in a position of choice, I'm going to go into it more specifically with each role, but just as kind of like an overview, there are a few trends and characteristics that really show up no matter what in each role. So the first, which is bolded, which is probably the biggest one, is consistency. So are you taking action and getting results consistently, or is it sporadic? Consistency and predictability is huge because it shows that you're both reliable and disciplined. As a manager, I'll take someone that's going to sell, 1,000, 2,000 a week for 10 weeks over someone that's going to sell 5,000 one week and then 500 the next week and then 0 the next week, because that's not predictable. That's not consistent. So when you can be consistent and predictable, like that says a lot about you and your work ethic. Also, just following through is another really big one. Being a person of your word and holding yourself accountable to follow through on your word and what you say you're going to do. Also, just constantly growing and improving. That does not mean being perfect or never making mistakes, but that you're always striving to grow and improve as a person. Also, just being able to challenge yourself. Taking the easy way out, is never going to get you to where you want to be, nor is it going to create any sort of lasting change. I'm kind of, as I go through, something I'm going to mention is like acting as if. That's something I've heard probably since my first summer. And really what that means is acting as though you're in a position with more responsibility than you have currently. So if you're a rep, that means acting as if you're already an assistant manager. If you're an assistant manager, that means acting as if you're running a branch office. And you'll notice that none of these characteristics have anything to do with sales or CPO. The sales skills are something that can be taught and developed, but that grit, determination, and perseverance are traits and characteristics that are always going to speak louder than your sales results. So Danny kind of went through my path, but just to kind of walk through kind of my experience doing Cutco through college. Like Danny said, I started out as a rep in the North Shore office in 2018, right after I graduated from high school. I had 2 other jobs, so I worked really part-time. It was probably like 5 to 10 hours a week. It was pretty minimal. I went to like team meetings once a week, and I wasn't like super engaged or super involved in the office, but I was pretty consistent with my sales. In 2019, I was promoted to be an assistant manager. Like Danny said, I had no intention of coming back as an assistant manager, but I totaled my car on the day I left for college and I needed money to pay my parents back for the deductible. I couldn't do any demos because I didn't have a car. So Danny and Brian hired me as a receptionist to help cover that cost and pay my parents back. And that was when, they talked to me about being an assistant manager, which is what I did for the summer of 2019. I sold a little under 20 grand that summer. I had a $10,000 SC2 push. And then I decided probably like mid-fall of 2019 that I decided to run a branch office. So I ran a branch office up in Mequon, Wisconsin last summer. It was really scary. It was something I was really nervous about, but we ended up finishing as the number 15 office in the country. And then I did decide to run another branch office this summer. I loved my experience last summer. I'd started to develop a team. I had people in TLA, which was a huge part of why I came back to run a second office. So this summer I'm back in Mac1. Obviously, I don't have the results of where we're finishing up, but right now we're the number 12 office in the company. But kind of just going through then my experience and how to put yourself in a position of choice with each position. As a sales rep, the number one way to put yourself in a position of choice really is by simply showing up. By showing up and being present, you'll already be separating yourself from your peers. This means taking advantage of the various opportunities to learn and grow within the position. There are so many resources to develop your sales skills. And when you can really take advantage of those opportunities, that's something that managers notice. We notice who shows up to the team meetings every week. We also notice who doesn't, who goes back on their word. Another way is by going field training and investing your time into learning from someone who's better at the job than you. It shows a level of dedication and investment into your own success. It's such a simple thing to do, but again, it's something that so many people just don't want to take the time out of their day to do. And the same goes for conferences. Every single one of you here made that decision to be here. And that's another thing that does not go unnoticed by your managers. You made that choice to invest into yourself and your future, which shows that you want to grow and improve. Consistency as a rep is huge. Again, that doesn't necessarily mean selling thousands of dollars every single week, but being consistent with the demos and the sales that you're doing and hitting your goals, whether that's 5 demos a week, 10 demos a week, 20 a week, or just hitting K Club. And like I said, I was by no means a great rep my first summer. I sold like 12,000, but I was consistent and I followed through with my outcomes. My outcome was that I wanted to hit President's Club. I hit President's Club. So that was the goal and I followed through on that. And so like I mentioned, if you are a rep, start acting like you're already an assistant manager. Offer to take people field training, show up early, be a leader in your office. And then as an assistant manager, many of the characteristics on this slide are very similar to the last, but you're just executing them at a higher level because everything that you do as an assistant manager, your representatives will reflect. You're a reflection of your office. So as an assistant manager, you're really learning and developing those leadership skills and leading the team. You are not just responsible for just yourself. You're also responsible for your team and for their success, and they're going to mirror what they see you doing. And one of the greatest ways to set yourself apart as an assistant manager is just by taking initiative and taking action without being told to do so. It shows that you're a leader and a self-starter and that you want to help the office succeed. So if you know that you're supposed to be doing fire number, like do fire number. Don't wait for someone to come around and tell you to start doing it. Little things such as being early go a really long way, and we notice who's always early. Helping to build the team is another great way to put yourself in a position of choice. It shows that you're tied into the office, you want it to succeed, and that you believe in the rep position, as well as that you're a leader in the office. Also, just learning how to and developing new representatives is a huge part of being a branch manager. So by starting to learn how to develop others and work with representatives as an assistant manager shows again that you are a leader in your office and you're acting as if you're a branch manager. You're acting as if you're running the pilot. In terms of being a branch manager, again, very similar to the things as an assistant manager, but you're executing at an even higher level because you're serving as the leader and the mentor for your team. You're also managing and leading assistant managers. And one of the biggest things about putting yourself in a position of choice as a branch manager is simply not giving up and quitting on yourself. You may not have the May or the June that you want, but that doesn't mean that you can't have a great July and August. So many managers weed themselves out and quit on the summer and don't even give themselves a chance to really succeed. As you heard Connor say, reaching up and out is something that every manager hears, but few actually do. When you can reach out to other people who are getting the results that you want, it shows that you're invested in your own success and that you're eager to learn from others who are getting those results that you want to get. And like I said, you may not get the results that you want right away, but being able to overcome adversity sets you apart from others. It will help you grow so much and shows that you're committed to your outcomes. For example, like this summer, we have not hit our numbers recruiting wise or sales wise. I could have given up when we were not on pace for our goal, and I would have had a pretty sucky summer. But we didn't give up and we kept, going all out to make the best out of this summer. The summer never ever goes as planned, but those that are able to overcome that adversity are always the ones that succeed. Another way to really put yourself in a position of choice as a branch manager is by expanding your capacity. So in July and August, you have the opportunity to sell personally. When you can lead the team and manage the office while also selling yourself, you're setting a great example for your team. You're expanding your capacity for what you can handle and manage on your plate, and you're finishing the summer strong. So again, if you're a branch manager, start acting like you're the pilot. Start acting like you're running a district office already. In terms of being a veteran branch manager, again, you're doing a lot of the same things, but you're also setting the example for other branches. You're leading your division as well as the region. When you hold yourself to a high standard and when they see that, they will too. And you have the opportunity to really develop a staff and continue developing assistant managers while still continuing to develop yourself as a leader. For example, like an area of opportunity for me last summer was in developing assistant managers. And this summer, that's something I've been very intentional about, really working with assistant managers. And now I have an assistant manager who went from 6,000 in sales at the beginning of the summer to almost 30,000. He had a $14,000 push. That's not something that I was able to do last summer that I've been able to do this summer. And as a veteran branch, you're really improving upon those areas of opportunity from the previous summer, and you're continuing to expand your capacity. And then that means acting as though you are a district manager. So for me, it's like, okay, who can I deploy as a branch manager next year? Who do I think would be a great branch manager? Who would be great assistant managers for those branches? And then just to kind of sum everything up, talk about, why you should consider management, because most of you here in this selling breakout are probably sitting here and don't really know if you want to go into management, probably haven't been thinking about it a whole lot. And I'm not here to tell you that you should, but rather to explain the opportunity and how I've been able to grow and put myself in a position of choice. One thing that I really love about management is the opportunity to develop others and be a part of their growth. One of, if not the most rewarding moment in my past 4 summers in Vector was probably yesterday, because my assistant manager, Kevin, had a $14,000 push. And being able to be a part of that and help someone else towards having such a big push is so rewarding, even more so than having had a big push myself. And management really teaches you how to be a leader and how to lead others from the front and through your actions. You'll also learn public speaking skills. And this is such a crucial skill for every career field that you could go into in life. And then while you might not know if management is for you, you really should keep your options open. And at the very least, consider the possibility of going into a management position. And that if you decide that's what you want, that you've opened that door for yourself. And when you put yourself in a position of choice, then you have that option if you decide it's the best fit and the best option for you. It's better to be turning down an option than to sit there and have to say like, oh, well, what if? What if I put myself in a position where I could have been an assistant manager? And this is the position that I'm in, as I'm starting to apply for jobs next year. I've put myself in a position of choice where I will most likely be able to choose which job that I want rather than being limited by a couple of different job options that I was able to get. So this is something that applies not just in Cutco, but in all areas of your life. And that is everything I have for you guys.
Well done, Gabrielle. By the way, I like that you're running the event from the special chair that we're sitting in where we run all our interviews in. So that's pretty awesome.
Of course I am.
Very nice. So cool. Nice plug there with the All-American brochure and sitting behind you. So very nice. Well, Gabby, that was great. Thank you so much. I hope you all took some great notes from that. And Gabby, you have a great future both in and out of Cutco, and that's exciting. So, all right, our last speaker today before our lunch break is Lindley. And Lindley is an assistant manager in our Lincoln Park office, which is in the city of Chicago on the north side. What's really impressive about Lindley, she's been with the company for about 14 months. She started in June of 2020. And she is currently at $83,000 in career sales. I don't think that includes everything in the push, by the way. She has done an incredible, I love it. It says, what are you most proud of? She wrote, I'm most proud of how many demos I've completed. She's done 441 appointments so far, and that's awesome. And outside of Vector, she's really proud of the fact that she's balancing a cappella group, work, study, social life, long distance relationship. And outside of Vector, she has a 4.0 this past year in her spring, which is really cool. So that's awesome. She is an outstanding leader in our Chicago division. She's one of the top assistant managers in the entire central region. And Lindley is going to talk to you this afternoon about some great tips for success and taking your life to the next level. And I'm really excited for what she's going to be talking to you about, specifically about the topic is selling to Cutco owners. So Kyle, if you'd be nice enough to play the tape and listen to Lindley.